Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Aubrey R. Taylor, and I am the 5-star general. They around here pimping you for your black votes now, huh? Somebody is trying to get black folk to vote for them and look like they got a bank account that's unreal. Well, guess what? We're going to talk about it tonight, man. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in, because you know without you guys, we would not have a show. And I'm grateful that you take the time out to tune in. Man, let me get some things straight real quick. All right, there we go. All right. First of all, I'm going to start off by saying today was the first day of school in the Houston Independent School District. And it's a somber mode for me because there's so much going on. And the only thing I care about is the well-being of the teachers, the kids, custodians, office workers, administrations. And the only thing I want to tell y'all is make the best decision for your children. Make the best decisions for your children. Tonight, they're battling at the Fort Bend ISD school board meeting. It's the mask mandate versus the ones that don't want the mask. At the end of the day, you have to make the best decision for your children, because the state of Texas and everybody else, these school districts are not going to deal with your children if something happens to them or if something goes haywire. So one, I want to, just tell the kids have a great year. The OG going to be floating around as usual. Might see me in front of your campus with a bullhorn. You never know. Just know y'all better be on point, because I'm everywhere. And I ain't saying where I'm going, but I'm going to be everywhere, making sure that these kids are being treated right, especially during this time. Aubrey, what's going on with you, man?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Just gearing up and getting into this cycle and then getting ready for the next. We got several things going on simultaneously. You've got races heating up. You've got individuals jockeying and kind of switching races. We had a big move made last week with attorney Tamika Craft, who've decided not to run against Judge Scott Dollinger. She decided she's going to go back for an appellate position, man. So that's going to be a very, very interesting race, one of the hottest on the ballot. Looking forward to getting into it tonight.
Now, her running at the appellate level, a lot of people will say it's symbolism, because I don't think there's a woman, African-American, that has ever sat on the appellate level. If I'm correct, if I'm not, please correct me. So is she qualified, or is this just symbolism again?
Well, no, I think that Tamika's well qualified, man. She can practice all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Actually, she's one of the most qualified African Americans that I can see on the ballot. She was the last time. I think that the Democratic voters overwhelmingly nominated her the last time around. I mean, it was 5 candidates in that race. She actually went to a runoff in that race. She won the nomination by beating a Caucasian female in that particular race. And man, it's a strange set of circumstances as to why she didn't make history at that particular time. So this time around, maybe the charm for her.
Well, the one thing that I'm starting to see, I did my first forum last week, and I kind of knew how it was going to end up. And when you go out there and you're talking to these people to get these endorsements, you either are going to be in good favor with some of them, and you down with them, you rock with them, and you'll get the endorsement. Or there's just some straight up groups that really want to hear from, the candidates, to make an informed decision. But some of these people use other means of getting endorsements. And what I mean by that is they donate to these people's PACs, they donate to these groups, and it's for the sole purpose of getting these endorsements, especially organizations that have the word black in their name. I'm getting some stuff on my radar that Judge Ravi Sandill, if I'm saying his name correctly,
Sandill,
is around here chunking money like he Nolan Ryan chunking 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. Like he chunking money at these black organizations to get the support of these people who realistically do not have the pulse of the community. They do not have the pulse of the African American community to guarantee these people any kind of votes. The biggest, strongest organization in the city to me was the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, who've been exposed as nothing more than a menial fraud at this point. You know, never did anything for candidates, but candidates poured thousands and thousands of dollars into them. And I'm not saying that this man is doing this. I'm just hearing, you know, in the streets that my man around here chunking money to these black organizations. You got any insight to that, brother?
Well, man, you got a situation where actually Judge Sandill actually has more money than in his coffers than any candidate. I mean, of any race, judicial candidate in a district seat, you know, in the state, as far as I can see. Right now, at this very moment, or at the last filing date, which was the 15th of July, he had $620,400 in his account, cash on hand. We're talking about, so he's got that much to play with. You have Tamika Kraft at that particular time only have about $12,000 in the bank, dude. So you're looking at a David and Goliath story. But you know, when you look at this thing, man, I think, you know, money does not vote, man. Money does not vote. So, you know, all of the endorsements, you know, in all this business, the money does not vote. Money can't cast one vote. Now, you might be able to, you know, to get some folks to do some things, but the money itself doesn't vote. You've seen that in mayoral races where people spend $12 million. People spend $2 million, don't come close to winning. So the money's not going to vote in this particular race. It's going to come down to name ID, and a few other things, and some old-fashioned campaigning. But what I can see shaping up, though, is that, and that I have a problem with, is that we're sitting here and we have a duly qualified, and we're not talking about symbolism here, man. Tamika Kraft is duly qualified for this, and these aren't nonpartisan organizations. If we have organizations who's supposed to be representing us and representing black folks. Now, I have a nonpartisan publication, man, so I do business with both sides. But that's not the situation with these particular political action committees, and definitely not our elected officials who are not giving this young lady a shot, man. And that's a shame.
Well, here's the thing that confuses me the most, and I'm gonna use this name: the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats. I'm not a racist, but I would ask, why are you endorsing white folks?
Yeah, but first, let me tell you something about that, man. Man, this Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, you mentioned, you know, a few minutes ago about the people and the candidates pouring money into these guys. Man, we can't even see what the hell folks been doing with them. You know, if you go to the Texas, I think we did that last week. I mean, we don't know who's been giving them money. Yeah, maybe they're not getting any, but if you look at them under their campaign finance reports, man, you find none. So we don't know if people are giving $20, if they're giving $5,000, if they're giving $20,000, because there's nothing there to see. So that's a major problem. Now, when you have organizations, the problem that I'm seeing right now is that when you have organizations, and this Texas Coalition being the umbrella, and you have all of these other ancillary political action committees being set up, I think that, you know, that we're setting up to bamboozle the black community. So in a sense, what you could have happen is you could have someone like a Ravi Judge Sandill or one of I'll just say a white judge who's running for re-election against a black opponent. You could actually see them show up with 15 different endorsements with the name black in it, man. 10 or 15 different endorsements. Now, the troubling part to that is that if those kinds of slates go out into the African American community, even push cards for those judicial candidates that look that way, the African American community or the average voter in the African American community would have no way to vet those candidates. What they would be looking at is a candidate who they would believe have already been vetted by the African American community by lieu of the fact that they have endorsements from the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, the Texas Black Democrat PAC, the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats Harris County, Texas Reform Black. Man, it's a mess. And the voters, our people, are going to get bamboozled with these shenanigans that are being played with these political action committees.
See, here's my thing. We know I got a very diverse lineup of endorsements from some people that have seen my work, some people that have actually worked with me and didn't have a clue that they were going to endorse me. But as far as trying to secure endorsements from organizations, I've learned throughout all this stuff that I've been through in 10 years that these organizations want what they want. They're not working in the best interest of the community. Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, for example, what the hell do they do in the community?
Well, we don't know, man, because you can't see it on the campaign finance report, so we don't know what to do.
They got so many damn names. We just need to call them the Texas Coalition of Black Criminals. That's what they need to be called, the Texas Coalition of Black Criminals that's sucking up these white politicians' money like they can deliver a black vote.
Man, the funny thing about that is if you look at it, the black judges, man, aren't buying it. If you go to the this new PAC that they've founded, the Texas Black Democrats PAC, man, you don't see any black judges on there buying into that crap, man. They know better. What you see is individuals who are running for some statewide offices. You see some local judges, non-black, who's supporting them and undergirding them. And the killing part is that it's going to benefit those individuals the most. Again, and I understand the fear. The fear factor is if you look at the last couple cycles, African Americans have been stalwarts on the ballot. They've been taking everybody out, especially African American females. So people are trying to hedge their bet, and they're hedging their bet not by what these organizations are doing, but if they can gain the endorsements, right? So they gain 10 endorsements from Carole and Antron and their group. The African American community is not going to know that those aren't legitimate endorsements. So if those candidates have the money, they can then flood the mailers into the African American community. The people get it; they go in to vote based on thinking that that's the best candidate, and that's the problem because oftentimes the African American candidates are underfunded, and they don't have the campaign donations coming into them that the other individuals do. But we should see a change in that many of these attorney firms have what you call friendly incumbency rules, where they donate to the incumbents. So, if they're donating to the incumbents and everything is fair, we should see this thing kind of balance out a little bit. Whereas our judges, their coffers should increase. But if not, we have to kind of ferret that out and call it out so that people can see clearly what's going on. If these firms don't support the African American judges in the way that they support other judges.
I feel kind of bad for the good ones because maybe some of them really think no matter what, these people can help them get the votes. And I think it might be cheaper if they did their own mailers instead of paying these people to mail some information out for you. And they lying and they're a criminal organization. And that's what I call it. And I'm not finna go back on it. I'm gonna stand on that maybe it's cheaper as a politician or a candidate if you did your own mailers and sent out your own information. I watch these people run for office and they spend tons of money on these consulting firms and all this stuff that they do. Like where the forum I went to the other night. I told you how that was gonna happen before I went. Yeah. I knew everybody that they were gonna endorse before I went. And the thing is, I'm not mad because I knew you wouldn't endorse me. I already knew, and I don't care because endorsements don't win races and money don't either. And I just think that the good politicians out there that don't mind spending the money, you need to take heed because right now there is no paper trail on the money that you spend. Well, where your block walkers at? Where your poll workers at? Where your phone bankers at? So you're just giving these people money for them to divide up amongst themselves and just walk around here like they the kings of everything.
Well, first of all, one of the first problem that I see when you look at these particular political action committees, man, the entire group of them is typically, if you look at super PACs and those kind of things, they get their money from their donors, right? And then their job typically, or their mandate, is set out for them to get the best qualified candidates who support their vision elected to office. What you're seeing here is you're seeing that in reverse. These people are basically taking the money from the candidates, right? So basically they should have the money, or if they're going to generate funds, it should not necessarily be from the candidates. It should be from outside donors that they're going to who support their visions, right? And then they should be taking that money, and rather than the candidate giving them $5,000, if you go look at the way Annie's List and others, do it, they should be actually donating the money to the judges. Not, raping the judges raping their bank accounts for the money. You understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the problem that you have here.
Well, see, I want to sing tonight. Can I sing a little bit? I want to sing. If y'all waiting for me to give y'all some money, you ain't getting a goddamn thing. Well, you ain't getting nothing. But everything that you just said, you being the chief strategist for my campaign, that's exactly what I'm doing. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
My money's coming from outside interests that believe in my vision. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And that's the little people that give $1. That's the people that can give 1,000. But the good thing is when I file a campaign treasury report, my report ain't 3 pages long. Yeah. My first report was 19 pages long. That means I put everybody on there. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So there's no questions about going on. I think a lot of these candidates also, some of these candidates, I know for a fact, they run for public office just to get the campaign money, knowing they ain't going to win. I know 2 of them for sure. Both of them black. They run for office just to get the campaign money so they can keep it at the end of the election cycle.
Yeah, we call those people political entrepreneurs, man. Yeah, we call them political entrepreneurs. And you got to remember now, here's the thing that I want you to start to look at as you're going through, well, any of you guys, anyone who's watching this right now. You go in, you look at the campaign finance reports and watch how heavy laden they are in consultants. So that's the easiest way to ferret out that money, man, out of that. When you're going and you're giving it to, because the consultants at the end of the day are dealing with intellectual property. They're dealing with conversation. So, when you look there and you see them giving a consultant, $50K, $30K, $20K for consulting, man, who in the hell, how much is involved with running a political campaign where you need 20 different consultants? So think about it this way. When you give the consultant the money, right? Their favorite consultant, whoever that may be, they give the consultant the money. How do we know how much money, how much conversation is worth, right? They're putting that value on that intellectual property. So at the end of the day, we don't have that many good consultants out here, especially not in the African-American community. I'm talking about that have a track record of winning. Not individuals like Dallas Jones who end up with the best candidate and the candidate with the most money who's probably going to win anyway. I'm talking about people who develop strategies and develop campaigns to go take down an incumbent. So what you have here is who's to stop that consultant that they gave the $20K to. And again, I'm not saying that this is going on, and so I don't want anybody, going back, saying some crap about me. But who's to say I give you, say for instance, you give me 30,000 for consulting. Who's to say that that these people aren't running to the bank? The consultant's keeping 5,000 of it and giving all the money back to the candidate. And believe me, that's happening. You have a situation right now that you'd like to talk about. It was that 11 million contract that Lena just handed. That they're under fire for with the county. So we don't. Why would you be giving a one-person firm $11 million, dude?
That doesn't even have a track record for doing the work that you gave them $11 million for.
Yeah, man, $11 million. So do you know how easy? You know how many ways $11 million can be split? We split a whole bunch of ways. A whole lot of folks can get stroked with that 11 million.
I think what we do here on a daily basis is we educate the people. No matter what the subject matter may be, we educate the people. So I want to educate you candidates on something. It's called a gumbo pot. Do you know what a gumbo pot is out there in the political consulting game? That's like if there's a candidate right here. I run a consulting firm, or it runs a consulting firm. Okay. There are 5 other candidates running against him. But this candidate right here pays me $30,000 to run this campaign. Okay, but I also go get the other 5 candidates and I put them in what I call a gumbo pot. Now, when I put them in the gumbo pot, that means that 30,000 is going to run all 5 of those campaigns. Those other 4, I get to keep and put in my pocket. Y'all listening to me, Mr. Politicians and Mr. Candidates? This is what they doing for you. So, yeah, I'm going to call them out. Next wave strategies. In the last election, at certain polls, you had one poll worker wearing 5 different shirts all day long. You working 5 different campaigns, but you're only paying them one salary. They pushing 5 different candidates, but you're only paying them one salary. And you're keeping the other 4 salaries, the other 4, the consulting fees, you're keeping for yourself. Shakira Dennis, I know you might get mad at me, but who gives a damn? That's what you did. We watched it. We saw it. So you guys out there that are running for office, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or whatever, be careful who you pay your money to, because you too might be in the gumbo pot.
Yeah. Hey man, I want to go back to this. I want to show the viewers, but talk to the viewers a little bit about what's happening in these down ballots. And one of the issues that happened in the last election in 2020, whereas Tamika Craft was concerned. Tamika Craft and a young lady by the name of Jane Robinson, I think. Yeah. In that particular race. You have a situation, man, to where we really have to educate our people, and we've got to get some things on board here. Here's my thing. If we're going to vote blue no matter who, you need to vote blue no matter who. Okay? So if we're going to vote blue no matter who, it needs to be vote blue no matter who. When it comes to down ballot, what's happening, and people are pissed at me right now for pointing this out, man, but all you got to do is go to the election results and look at and ferret out what I'm saying. When you have in Harris County, there's a 50 to 38,000 vote gap between the down ballot and the judicial races between African-American judicial candidates and Hispanic judicial candidates. That's a major, major, major problem. Okay, so if we're in a general election and the Democrats are going down and voting blue, no matter who those vote, there should not be that kind of disparity between the down ballot Hispanic judicial candidates and the African-American judicial candidates. This sort of voting pattern is what cost us the opportunity to have an African-American make history at the appellate level. Okay, that appellate level for these races involves these particular counties. Let me see here. What we're talking about, those it goes over 10 counties. We're talking about Austin County, Brazoria County, Chambers County, Colorado County, Fort Bend County, Galveston County, Grimes, Harris, Walker, and Washington counties. Here's the problem. Tamika Craft lost that race in Harris County because of the disparity between her and the other candidates, the other three females who were running in across those 10 counties. Because the gap was so vast in Harris County in terms of disparity that, in my opinion, Hispanics did not necessarily cast their vote for her down ballot like they did the two Hispanic females who were running for the appellate level. So at the end of the day, the two Hispanic Democrats beat their opponents pretty good. The Caucasian female lost by a handful of votes, but Tamika Craft wind up losing by almost a little over 20,000 votes overall because of disparity that happened in Harris County. So now all these people who are pushing Black-Brown coalition, all this kind of stuff, they got to take this information, man, that we're giving them, and they've got to use that information, and they've got to get their Hispanic brethren and this Black-Brown coalition thing, they've got to get that on task. African Americans are going down and voting for Democrats to the largest extent, probably to the tune of 90%, in the 90 percentile range. But that's not so with what our Hispanic brethren and Latina sisters are doing down ballot. So that's a problem that the Democratic Party and candidates should be. I shouldn't be the one having to bring this to light. The party should be educating not only the candidates but the voters in terms of what they need to be doing. Because right now what we're doing is we got the African Americans playing a game for Democrats, and then you have other folks kind of willy-nilly doing their thing, going across and voting for Republicans, skipping races and all this kind of business. So that needs to be straightened out if there's going to be some type of cohesive down ballot. Otherwise, what we need to do is we need to hold that vote, man. We need to become more astute voters, and we need to go down that ballot, and we need to do our thing. And then, that's the way that you show folks that you mean business. Because right now, the African American vote is being taken for granted in some instances and been sold for pennies on the dollars in another.
But you gonna make some folk mad when you say hold the vote. Well, why are you telling them to hold the vote? Is this just to be selfish, or is this your way of holding people accountable for what they've not done? Explain that.
Well, what you have here is you've got a situation where you've got to get some act right, man. The only way our people get treated the way that they did up in Washington, D.C., man, is because we don't value our vote, and we're not hedging our bet, dude. You got to you've got to hedge your bet. You've got to show folks at some point that you mean business. And you got to have some type of you got to have some type of demand on what we're doing. It's clear that that Joe Biden was out of there, dude. African Americans saved his butt. But guess what, man? What's being done for us specifically? You're not talking about here. Now, again, it's not my job to push this message. I'm just trying to open the eyes of our people. My thing is I'm nonpartisan, dude. I have clients on both sides. This should not be a message that I'm having to carry. But what we have here is we've got a situation where we are being disrespected, dude. There's no respect for our vote. These people are, once they go out and they get a certain group of African Americans on board with them, they don't give a damn about the rest of our people. They don't give a damn about our plight. And the problem with that is that when you have the people who have the ear of these candidates, and these individuals who's running for office, and they tell them that everything is good, guess what? They only have to keep those people happy, not the general populace, not the general African American community. That's the problem. So in that, those individuals are able to sell our community. That's the reason why they use them black in all those names. They're promising these people that they can deliver the vote. And what they're doing is actually giving them the access to the churches. They're giving them the access to the community center, the civic centers, and they're giving them the ability to, again, put out information that has black on it. And our people aren't reading. They aren't doing research. So they're taking this information when they get that push card at the polling place and they see black, and they're assuming that those people have been vetted. But in a sense, those people have actually stroked a handful of people. You know who some of those folks are. They stroked them, and those people have told them that everything is good. That's the reason why they want people like you, people like me, out of business. As it stands right now, I'm one of the only. When you look at that money that they have on hand, that they spent in terms of, and I'm talking about corrolling those guys, that 41,000, dude. I'm one of the only consultants, one of the only blacks in here who's making more money than that. So guess what? Their plan is to get people like you, people like me out of the way. It's one of the reasons why I'm being sued right now. They want to get me silenced and get me out of the way. They don't want us coming out here educating our people, dude. They don't want me bringing this stuff to light. So what the plan is to get me shut up for this 2020 cycle. During this cycle, with all of these political action committees, these people will enrich themselves. And guess what, man? It's game over. Then they've got the framework set up for 2024.
Wow, you just said a mouthful, boy. You spitting like M16, man. Say, man, let me tell y'all something, man. Pimping ain't easy. It ain't easy, man. But they pimping the black vote. That's where I started at from the beginning of this program, and that's where I'm at right now. They're pimping the black vote. Now, if these people that they want in office are going to work, then who are they actually working for? Didn't you say you would do something with the crime? No, you ain't did nothing with that. Folks getting shot up in the Galleria, just eating at outside of the restaurant now. They ain't did nothing with that. You say you would do something about the prostitution? Well, you know, I see you put a sign out on Bissonnet saying whatever, but you ain't did nothing with that. You see what I'm saying? So who benefits from these people getting in office that's got our own people pimping our black vote? The people that's telling you to vote for them. Their pockets are lined. They have bank accounts that are through the roof. And then we get nothing out the deal, and we got to complain for 4 more years, and then we get selective amnesia when it's voting time because we go right back and vote for these suckers again. We go right back and vote for them again.
It's sad, man.
Now, you tell me if I'm wrong. I just went through this in a forum the other night. I'm not going to call the organization out. But how could you endorse the same trustees that got us in the situation we in now? Because that particular group gets something out the deal. They get something out the deal. I don't have nothing to offer you but the truth. So, and another thing, just because you said it, yeah, they want to put us out of business. Man, please go sit down somewhere before you end up in the federal penitentiary. You gonna end up in jail playing, bro. And a whole bunch of these people right now, with what we are looking at, with what I'm looking at, and people, y'all need to know me and Aubrey don't talk every day. We don't talk every day. We work on different, what would I call it? Different sides of the spectrum. But this stuff is sitting there in plain view. Y'all just don't know where to look for it. It's there. A whole bunch of these people should be in jail right now. They should be in jail. But we want this, and they're not doing this for us. Stop voting them criminals in now.
Man, Gary, man, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, what I'm looking at, I mean, you're right, man. We don't talk every day. I mean, you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, man. I have a large slate of clients, dude, who's going to be up for re-election. We as a body of people have the largest slate of African Americans preparing to run for re-election than we've ever had in the history of Harris County. I don't give a damn about, all this, the crime issue and all that. We have to deal with that. But again, we have the largest slate of African Americans that are up for re-election than we've ever had in the history of Harris County. Now, they can't defend themselves. Right now, nobody's defending them. We have a job that's being done in the media with the reporting on all of this crime, dude. I mean, there's a lot of crime happening in a lot of areas. What we have to start doing is watching which crimes are being reported. That'll tell you, what's really going on behind the scenes. Once you do that, I want you guys to start paying attention. Watch the names of the judges that they mention and the judges that they fail to mention. When they're reporting on something, when an African American judge is doing something, the mainstream media will put that African American judge's name in a lot of times in the lead paragraph, definitely in the second paragraph. What court they're over or presiding over and everything. When a judge of another ethnicity does something wrong, we typically have to, sometimes the judge's name is not mentioned at all, or I have to go and hunt and find out which judge they're talking about. So we got to start paying attention, man.
We have to do a better job of researching these candidates. We have to do a better job of educating ourselves with this political system. Because honestly, it's really not that hard to figure out. But you have to take the time so that when you go into that voting booth, you are making a very conscious decision. You know what's best for you and yours. Stop listening to, let me tell you what you need to do. Stop listening to these Negro pastors somewhat. When the church become too political, stop listening to them. Stop listening to these side pieces that run with the politicians. You see what I'm saying? They run with the politicians. Everywhere the politician at, that's where they at. Say, man, you need to get out here and vote Democratic. No, you need to do your research. And if your research leads you to the Democratic side, then that's what you need to do. If your research leads you to the independent side, then that's what you need to do. If your research leads you to the Republican side, then that's what you need to do. Yeah. But stop listening to these caretakers or these criminal politicians.
Look, Gary, here's a problem.
Getting paid.
Yeah, here's a problem, man. If you look at, all you got to do is think about it this way. If you look at the current system and the way that we're doing things, when you're only going down the ballot and voting for a D or an R, if Satan himself got on the ballot, you would actually vote for Satan himself if he's running as a Democrat or Republican. That's a blind way of doing things, and that's not the best way to get these judges. Some of these judges are making life and death decisions. They have to choose between life and death. Man, these positions are too important for us to be voting for people in the blind on this. No, we can't do it. We've got to change the way that we're doing things. Now, again, when we walk into courtrooms, all we want and all we should be demanding of these judges is to do the right thing based on the Constitution and the laws that govern us as a free nation. So that's what it should be. It's not about favoritism. It's not about who you know. It's not about what party you belong to. When they put that robe on, dude, it's supposed to be about our rights as American citizens and the Constitution and the laws that govern us. So the judge does not need to be your friend. Matter of fact, the judicial candidates prohibit that. Man, they can't give prestige to individual citizens. So you have all these people running around taking pictures with judges and all that crap. Man, some of that stuff is borderline, breaking the judicial canons anyway. So we've got to ferret some of that stuff out, man. But at the end of the day, we've got to definitely, as it relates to these judicial benches, it's too important than for us to be just voting D or R. We need to be voting for the best candidate available of the candidates that's available. If that turns out to be the Democrat, then you vote for the Democrat. But at the end of the day, man, we need some God-fearing people with backbone in these positions of authority, man, because they're actually ministers of justice is what they're supposed to be, man.
I tell you what, man, they got some good Democrats out there, man.
Oh, yeah.
That you can vote for. They got some good Republicans out there that you can vote for. Yeah. And there's multiple fractions on each side of the line. So you got to be careful who you voting for. You might vote for a Democrat that live by Republican values every day.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well,
But I mean,
that's what's happening with what you see now. You see people crossing. I mean, look at Melanie Flowers. Melanie ran against. She's been running on the Republican side. That's Boris Miles' ex-wife. She's been running on the Republican side for years. You know, she ran against Sandra Peake the last time. She beat Alyssa Lemkill in the I think it was Alyssa in the Dem primary. In the Republican primary. You know, and then she couldn't win on that side. Then they secretly, I guess, you know, put forth a situation where she goes from running under the name Melanie Wilcox Flowers or whatever, Melanie Flowers on the Republican side. Then she came over in 2020 and ran on the Dem side, man, and unseated Verlinda Higgins or whatever her name is, a lifelong Democrat on the Dem side, running using the name Miles. You know, so these people switch. At one point, Governor Perry was a Democrat, man. I mean, you know, switched over to Republicans. So you actually have some people who, you know, will run as a Republican, win that, or run as a Democrat, and then, you know, once they're elected, man, switch parties. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. We've got to look at people and put people over politics, man, and be a lot smarter about what we're doing. And if we can do that and not, you know, do this voting in the blind stuff, what's going to happen is at that point, you'll be able to place a demand on these politicians as a community, you know, but right now they don't have to cater to us or acquiesce to our demands, you know, especially as long as they have certain Negroes in their, you know, in their circle and they stroke certain Black folks.
But the question that comes up a lot is, why shouldn't they cater to us? When there's an issue that people want to push through, and y'all just have to accept it, they pushed Latino issues through, LGBTQ issues through, especially at the federal level. But then when there's a Black issue, we can't get any movement. We can't get any movement. And I think that has a lot to do with the politicians that represent us not clearly understanding and buying into all this racist BS that you got to play both sides of the aisles to get it done. The John Lewis Act and all that, you playing one side of the aisle. But you don't have them, you know, you had a majority. I don't even understand what they're doing at the federal level on the Democratic side. When they got all the damn votes. They worried about a filibuster and you got all the damn votes. Yet you can't show Black people what you've done for them. But we're supposed to keep believing that you're going to do something for us. That's crazy, man. Yeah. That is actually crazy.
Let me tell you something, Garrett. When you have the House and the Senate, you know, we're in a situation. I remember from watching Warzone when you had your other co-hosts on, you guys were talking about the issue of reparations. So right. So we're being tricked, man. Our people are, man, in some cases, we're the most gullible people on earth. So you have a situation where supposedly, you know, they're going to do something about reparations. So we're going to get, you know, some sort of reparations. So they have both chambers, but then they put forth, you know, the bill to do a study on reparations. What the hell we need a study for, dude? So you need the reason why, and what's going on with that? The reason why you do a study is to kick the ball down the road, dude. If they were to have a vote on reparations for Black people, it would expose Democrats in the House, dude.
Whoa!
We would find out that these people are not for us. If you put forth a vote on reparations, dude, right now, if they put forth, I would challenge Congresswoman Sheila Jackson to do that. Put forth a vote, and then we would find out how people really feel about us. Gary, are you listening to me closely?
You just said a mouthful.
Vote on reparations for whatever amount, I don't care what it is, 100,000, whatever else. Put it forth. We would find out as a community how these people really feel about us. I promise you.
Man, you done said what I've been saying for the longest. If they put it out there, it's going to be Democrats that don't want you to have it. It's going to be Democrats, but they play with the conversation. We need reparations, but yet you ain't doing nothing to even bring it to the floor. I know for a fact, and I got my gut tells me. My gut tells me. Pelosi ain't for it. She could have brought it to the floor a long time ago. But what it's going to really expose is folks like the Warnocks, who I think would be one of the black ones that don't want us to have it. So I'm not sitting around waiting for the mailman to run, thinking I'm finna get some reparations, because it ain't going to happen. But what you just said has been my truth from when the conversation all of a sudden started to become relevant, that they're never going to bring it to the floor like they should. They're going to wait until they lose the House or the Senate and then say, well, the Republicans don't want us to do it. But we tried. Trying ain't good enough. And I believe just what you said, there are several Democrats that do not want us to have it.
Man, I don't want anybody to get this wrong, dude. I am not against Democrats. I am not for Republicans over Democrats, all that business, dude.
I'm against the crooked Democrats.
Well, that's what I'm against. I'm for the people, and I think that information is supposed to flow freely. We're supposed to be able to say, hey, here's my truth. You're supposed to ferret out the information that we're given. And once you do that, you should be able to make your own decision. But you can't do that if you're not giving and given the information, if the information doesn't flow through to the people. That's the danger with a lot of what we're seeing now, where you're silencing people, man. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. We're infringing upon the First Amendment rights hell, I'm having mine infringed upon. So, man, we got to do something about this. We've got to become more knowledgeable and listen to more than one news source so that we can see what's going on and fix some of the issues that's facing our community. And it's going to involve bipartisanship. It's going to involve people from different sides of the aisle coming together and fixing issues. Because in many cases, man, we're the only ones hating on one another. In many cases, these guys are friends, man. They're playing golf together. They're laughing and talking. And they're playing a game out in front of us.
I like the fact that I'm running for a nonpartisan position because it has opened the door for me to have conversations with other ethnicities. It's opened the door for me to have conversations with people with different political backgrounds. And when we sit and we talk, we just talk like people. And old Monroe makes sense to him. It don't matter if they're a Republican or a Democrat. Old Monroe just makes sense to him. And I'm amazed that, some days I can captivate the audience, because some days, whether people know it or not, normally before I speak, like we got a forum this weekend. Thursday we have a forum. So while I'm riding, I'm going to have my headphones on. When I get to the venue, I'm going to have my headphones on. Because honestly, I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm going to say, because I think you've learned that I don't prepare speeches. I just go on the fact that I know, and I speak from my heart. So that's why it doesn't come out as fancy as some of these other people. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is everything that you said tonight about the reparations aspect, it is what it is. Now, contrary to popular opinion, especially for my Latino brothers or my immigrant brothers, man, stop believing everything them people spitting to y'all, man. I'm going to say it in Spanish. Stop listening to them criminalos. Because they ain't working in your favor, bro. They ain't working in your favor, man. So, I think that the down ballot elections and school board is a down ballot election to me. It's an off-year election. And nobody never pays attention to the school board. You should. Because that's one of the reasons that your crime rate is up. Because your school component is messed up. Now, I'm going to kind of go off subject for a second. You see the old superintendent out there giving haircuts this weekend? He went back to his college days, man. Yeah. Man, the man winning brownie points with me, man. Yeah. Man, the man went back to his college days where he had to cut hair to survive while he was in college. I was impressed with that, man. I was really impressed with that. And then some of the conversations he was having with the kids this morning at the schools, I could see he got a kid in his house. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just think that we're going the wrong way on some of these votes in these elections. Man, you know, I speak slang Spanish. Becky say I need to get some Spanish lessons.
Yeah.
I speak slang Spanish. I bet you I know some Spanish words that my Latino brothers would love to have me say. Dinero. Huh?
Yeah.
They messing you out your dineros.
Yeah. I would like to say something, man, as it relates to that. I didn't get into this earlier when I was talking about the down ballot races. So we do have a unique situation, man, to where we do need more Latino representation on the benches. Now, how they're going to get there, how we're going to get there, I don't know. But I know one thing. I know that it shouldn't be at the expense of having Latinos and African Americans going to war. So based on their general the population numbers and the growth and everything, we actually need more Latino representation. I think we only have we got a handful right now, man. We have too few. So the question becomes,
wouldn't you say that the demographics of our city demands that?
Well, it demands it. But here's my issue, man. Again, don't get me wrong on this. My thing is, from what I'm seeing is, and what I'm hearing and what I've been hearing is a purging of African American candidates to do it. What I'm telling everybody is that's not the way to get there. We're not going to get there that way. Don't try that one. That's not the way we're going to get there. So there's got to be another way, and it's up to right now. The Democratic Party holds all the seats. They need to come together and figure out some type of way to get there. But it's not through unseating the good African American judges. Maybe a couple need to go, but it's not going to be open season on African American judges to get there, and it shouldn't be. Not in the Democrat primary. We get to the general election, that may be a different story. But as it relates to right now, Democrats hold the seats. All of the incumbents will be Democrats. And having Hispanics run against Democrats and that kind of business, that's not going to be the way to get there.
So are all our judges at the moment Democrats?
Democrat, yeah.
So people can't get mad when folks are saying that these Democratic controlled judges' seats are the reason that these guys are getting out of jail. That would be a true statement. Am I correct?
Yeah, all them, man.
So it's all them. So people can't get mad at that. But I agree that there are a few African American judges that need to go, just like it's a few white ones that need to go.
Well, I agree.
It's a few Latinos that need to go.
They need to come, yeah.
Because some of y'all ain't worth two dead flies smashed together anyway. And I'm just being honest. It's some that need to go. And I'm equitable when I think about the ones that need to go. But of course, I'm going to do my judicial slate later on in the election season for November. I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna do one too, and I bet I was gonna be different.
I'm gonna be totally different because I'm gonna shock the world, man.
I got some good guys, man. There are some very, very good judges that's there who need to stay, and we've got to also make certain that our people understand that some of our younger judges, man, some of these judges could be set for life. They need one term, especially the county court at law judges, man. They win one term. They win this time around, man, and some of those judges may be set for life, Doug. So they only need 2 terms. I think the district court judges need 3. So we've got to look at all of those kinds of things, man, and make some wise decisions and return some of our folks to the bench and make certain that we get good, duly qualified judges on that bench, man. That's something that needs to go.
Well, I think we ought to blow the top off something Wednesday night on Dirty Politics. I think we need to have a couple of guests come on here, and we need to blow the top off the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats. I think we need to blow the top off this thing Wednesday night. You down with it? Well, I know Chuck down with it.
Well, no, it can't just be the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, though. You've got to, because right now what's happening is the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats is almost coming defunct, though. It's that the Texas Black Democrats PAC that they're basically pushing, but they're using the name of the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats. But where they're pushing that money to is the Texas Black Democrats PAC.
So why don't we just blow the top on all of them?
Well, okay, I'll come up with a list for you, man. I've got about 8 to 10 that I can expose, 8 to 10. And I can, so you get your guests ready. I got about 8 to 10, and I've got some defunct companies, that consulting companies that's outside of the state in Washington D.C. I want to talk about.
I tell you what, man, I got some folk lined up, man. What about I bring on Patrick Eronia, former vice president of finance for the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats.
Woo, bad boy, man.
Deal with the money. And then why don't I bring on Dr. Sharon Berry, the Houston County Democratic Party and vice chair of the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats?
I don't think you want to do that, man.
I think I want to do it.
I don't think you want to do that.
I think I want to start some good trouble, man. But I'm also going to ask, because local law enforcement does not seem to give a damn about what these people are doing. If you're a federal agent, tune in Wednesday, because I'm going to blow the lid off this thing, man. I'm going to blow the lid off it. And I really want to thank one of our contributors to this here that helped me dig a little bit deep. The good doctor, Candace Matthew. Thank you so much for giving me the ammunition and giving me the strength to want to go out here and do the research. Because now I'm finna blow the lid off y'all. And I recommend by Wednesday, because I'm make sure that it's some good federal people watching this. I recommend by Wednesday that several of y'all resign your positions. If you're a member, I recommend you call them people and tell them you want your money back. Because when we finish Wednesday, say, man, pyramid schemes, wire fraud, gonna be a whole bunch of federal violations discussed. You see what I'm saying? So I think Wednesday we gonna have a little fun. And see, you ain't even know this was coming. You ain't even know this was coming, bro. And we blow the lid off. So if you out there, I'm talking to you out there, have done business with these people, Wednesday night, you're going to get exposed. Your organization, your name. If I was you, I'd find somewhere to hide. Because what y'all have done and are perpetuating to do, I will not allow it. I will not allow you to rape a good Republican candidate. I will not allow you to rape a good Democratic candidate, and especially the white ones who y'all are preying on just to get their money in 2022 and 2024. What you're trying to do is what we said in the hood. You're trying to hit a lick in 22 and 24. But I'm finna get you. You see what I'm saying? I'm finna get you, bro. And it is what it is. And all of y'all that's in these organizations and knowing what these people are doing and acting like, oh, I can't do nothing about it. The best thing you can do is separate yourself from that foolishness. Because if you don't, they gonna get you too. They gonna get you too. Now, some of y'all, especially you dudes in all this foolishness, go take a shower tonight. I want you to make sure you get your hands real soapy. And then pick up the soap and practice not dropping it. Because where you finna go, you better not drop it. Because if you been over to pick it up in one of them showers, it's going to be hell to pay the captain. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be hell to pay the captain if you do. So your final thoughts, Aubrey.
Man, look, I'm looking forward to this show on Wednesday. We got to let Chuck know, man, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say here. Give him a heads up on this. But look, we've got a major problem, and we need for you guys to share this topic. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna put out a flyer. share this platform, Dirty Politics, which is the one that's going to be on Wednesday, so that everybody can see what we're going to lay out. I'm going to lay out several dirty, what I consider to be dirty or defunct political action committees. I'm going to show you exactly how the money's coming in, where the money's going out to, and I'm going to show you a shell game that's being played. And I have a recording from a company that say they don't even have a Washington, D.C. office. I called them again today.
Stop being nice and just call it money laundering.
Well, I mean, man, look here, man.
That's more federal to me.
Look, man. Look, I'm gonna let you say that, man. Look, they like to sue me, dude. So I'm gonna be a little bit careful. Well, they don't want to sue you, man. They don't want to sue you, man. They want to sue me. But anyway,
what they want to do, they want to catch me outside on a patio eating lunch. Play with me if you want. Play with me if you want, big homie. I promise you.
Patios, man.
Man, I ain't worried about them people, man. We're gonna continue to tell the truth here. We're gonna continue to educate the people. And if they don't like it, they just don't like it. Say, man, it's a reason why I'm the best in the business and we the best in the business. It's the War Zone every night, 7 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank my co-host, my man, Aubrey R. Taylor, Houston Business Connection. And you know who I am. Bonafide shit starter, the 5-star general. Until tomorrow night. But Wednesday night, I'm blowing the lid on the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats. Bring your popcorn. I got the butter, and we gonna get it in. Until then, we'll holler at you.
All right.